Hello everyone and welcome back to the Butterbug Fish Care series where we're talking about setting up and maintaining a tank full of fishy friends for make pretty your home.
For your enjoyment.
For your enjoyment. It's starting to get a little late, so... But as tired as I may be, it does not obviate the need for responsibility when it comes to your fish tank. We already talked about what goes into setting up your tank. We talked about feeding them. But as you put nutrients in, eventually stuff has to come back out. So we're going to talk today about cleaning your tank. So probably the most common thing that you're going to do for cleaning out your tank is using a siphon. That's one of these right here. It's drippy. Had some water in it. I actually need to like clean out the tube a bit. But the idea is that this goes into the tank and siphons out water into a bucket. And you know, this one is nice and has like a pump to...
I really need to get me one of those.
It's nice because otherwise you gotta like basically...
Yeah, so my siphon, which you might be wonderful and take a video of, is I stick it in the water and I like suck on the end. I have to watch the water level because once it goes up over this way, siphon is going to do the rest of it, and you just put it in the bucket. I'm going to suck out a whole mouthful of fish poop water, which is just awesome.
Yeah, so the way to use a siphon is a little different depending on your substrate. Mm-hmm. But gravel is the most common one, and I guess should I go ahead and do it a little bit?
Sure.
Alright, cool. Okay, so Jen, go ahead and talk me through some of what the siphoning is going on here.
Alright, so basically what you're doing when you siphon is you're trying to get any detritus, so like any poop, any leftover food, whatever, so you kind of like put it pretty deep into the gravel.
I'm getting it primed right now just with the pump that's in the siphon. Squirt. And once it's primed and it's going and it's doing the siphon thing, then...
Yeah, and just kind of what Andrew's doing, is Boater is doing, is you push into the gravel, you twist it, and you lift, and you try to get any poop or leftover food or anything to go up and into the bucket. I have a 5-gallon bucket for this because I just find it easier.
Yeah, I have a 2.5-gallon bucket because it's easier to lug around. Yeah, I will generally do 2.5 gallons at once, and I'm not going to do a full bucket worth because that takes time. So I'm just going to let this come back out right here.
You got some pretty green water.
Yeah, my water is a little bit green right now, so if you could look into the bucket, and I'll show a shot of this right now, but is that my water still is a little bit green, still has a bit of algae in it. So Jen, I'm going to go dump this if you want to talk about what's different about cleaning on sand versus gravel.
Sure. So in cleaning in gravel, you jam it really far in there, basically as deep as you can go, and you really try to mix everything up and around. On sand, you don't need to really do that quite so much because all of your detritus, your poop, anything else is going to be sitting on top of the sand. So you just kind of need to take it, you just kind of need to like wave the siphon around on top of it just to stir up anything that's loose. You can push it into the sand a little bit if you want, but you know, just be aware that if you push it into the sand really far and really hard, you're going to create so much suction, you're going to suck sand up and into it, and then you're going to end up losing sand. And
yeah, with as much as you note that, like in gravel, you can see stuff coming up like that. Just imagine all your sand doing that as well. So that's the basic way of cleaning your tank, and you should do that like ideally once a week. I do it every couple days because I probably overfeed them a bit. And with this many, I think my filter might be slightly overloaded on bioload, so I just try to make sure that poop comes out. If you're too aggressive with cleaning, you're actually going to kill your nitrogen cycle.
Yeah, you're going to have what's called recycling your tank because you're going to end up taking out all the nitrates, all the nitrites, and all the ammonia, and it's going to be totally restarted.
Yeah, it's gonna kill off the beneficial bacteria that you've got going. Mm-hmm. So it is very important when you clean your tank to test its parameters. And again, we talked about the nitrogen cycle before, but it's a good way to just make sure that you're keeping the cycle going. Because As we mentioned, you can completely kill your nitrogen cycle. So you want to make sure that you're not pulling out too much, and the way to do that is just by testing your parameters and making sure that everything's still fine.
And I would test your parameters before you do a water change. I think it's going to end up telling you more overall because it'll tell you, let's say that you're currently changing your water once every 2 weeks. If you test your water before water change and you find like, wow, my nitrates are really high, you're like, wow, this parameter is really off, it tells you you probably need to clean it maybe once a week instead of once every 2 weeks kind of a thing.
Yeah. I'm cleaning a couple times a week because I am seeing that the higher amount of nitrates in mine, which is partially due to overfeeding, and I have a lot of algae. It's not so bad right now. You can see a little bit of cloudiness in there, but as she mentioned, when I siphoned out some of the water, it was a little on the green side in the bucket. So there's algae that will sit on decorations and stuff, which is great for your plecos. Then there's algae that's floating in the water, which is not really doing you any good.
Right. And there's a couple of really easy fixes for if you do have an algae bloom, which you mentioned a few episodes ago, and now we've gotten to.
Woo.
The first is just lower the amount of time that you have your light on.
Yeah.
I think he has his light on for too long during the day. That's a lot of your problem.
Within the last week, I just started to not even turn the light on until I get home. Right now, it's like 12:30 at night. Normally, this would be off by now.
Yeah.
But I don't even turn it on until I get home at like 6 or so.
That's one of the ways in which a timer can be really helpful.
Yep.
They're like what do you call them? Surge protectors that have little like dials or electrical things that program, and then like
so you can have stuff that's on all the time,
during the day, during the night.
Yep, you can have stuff that's on all the time during the filter, and you can have stuff like lights that are modulated like that. Me personally, I do it personally because I like it to be on while I'm here and awake. And if I'm not here for 8 hours during the day, why have the light on? So there's that. Sometimes you'll get a lot of algae buildup on decorations or on your glass, and that's part of the reason I have plecos. When I first started the tank, after it was cycled and such, I put in Danios, but algae buildup was happening on the decorations. As soon as I put a couple bristlenose in there, it was gone in a day.
Yeah, like previously mentioned, they're well known for cleaning anything with algae off.
But if for some reason you don't have algae-eating catfish, it may build up, and it's okay on decorations. If you do want to clean it off, if you want to clean off your glass or you want to clean off your decorations, have a sponge that is specifically for your aquarium. Because number one, you don't want to clean anything with this because it's got aquarium stuff in it. It's kind of gross. Number two, if you put like soap or something in this and then put it in your aquarium water or on any decorations that are going to go in your aquarium water, that's bad for your fish. Don't just rinse off your decorations under the tap.
Use a brand new dedicated sponge.
Yeah, this has been used for nothing except this, and it sits in its own dedicated holder. Sing the song. Don't. So yeah, I think that's all. Like when it comes to cleaning, you're managing your nitrogen cycle. You're making sure there's not too much crap, literally and figuratively, in your tank. And you're making sure that not too much stuff is built up. It's siphoning and it's maybe wiping stuff down every once in a while. It's not hard. It's just something that you need to do.
Yeah, and a lot of it you can is preventative, to be honest. If you find that you're getting a lot of algae, cut down on the feeding. Maybe feed only once a day until it's under control, and then feed half as much in the morning, half as much at night. You can get, like, one of the advantages of live plants is actually if you had live plants, you probably wouldn't have an algae problem.
Yep.
Just because
it'll
live
absorb
plants
a lot
will
of those
suck up the
free nutrients. Yeah.
One kind of plant that's really well known for that, they're called Marimo balls, or algae balls, and they're just little round green things that they end up sucking up a lot of the nutrients that are left over in the water, so you don't have as many algae problems. I gave a couple to my dad for his birthday. He had a lot of cloudy water problems. He's got some still, just because it's a tank sitting near a window, so he gets a lot of natural sunlight for a lot of algae, but...
My birthday's coming up. And by that I mean my birthday was actually a few weeks ago, according to when this aired. So... if you don't give me one of those, please write down the information so I can get one of those, because I'm very interested.
It's also nice because I was worried about his fish bothering and nipping at it, whatever, but he's got 2 plecostomus, he's got 2 weather loaches, he had a coolie loach that would probably live about 5 or 6 years, but it actually just died, poor thing.
Oh.
But it lived a very long, happy coolie loach life.
Yeah.
And he's got all the live bears, and they leave it alone. They don't bother it at all.
And again, it's helping to soak up a lot of those nutrients that would otherwise turn into an algae bloom. And this is a tank that's by a south-facing window.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty good at that.
Yeah, so that is maintaining the cleanliness of your tank, cleaning it out, keeping it clean, and making sure that everything stays in nice harmonious balance as far as algae and stuff goes. So yeah, there's one more episode in the fish care series, and it's one I'm kind of not looking forward to talking about.
Yeah, so what happens if, for example, if your cleanliness does start to slip?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about illnesses and mortality. But it is still something that is important information. So if you enjoyed talking about poop, then tomorrow we're going to talk about death. We're really
ending the week on a high note here.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed it for some weird reason, if you're enjoying the series, give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe down below to see more videos. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.com/Boaterbug, and support me on Patreon.com/Boaterbug. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.